Hi, this is Meagan Michael coming to you from breaking free from toxic people and breaking free from narcissistic abuse. Before we get into the video, which is going to be about boundaries today, I wanted to say thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for coming back and visiting my channel. And all right, so let's just dive right into this. So I'm going to read to you. I'm sure I will interject, but I want to read to you this blog, actually two blog posts that I wrote recently about boundaries. I wrote one and it's short, and I'll read that to you. And I had an overwhelming response to this post, and I realized that this is a subject that really needs to be addressed. And something that I have been working on myself, any of us who have been, all of us actually, who have been in these toxic relationships have had issues with boundaries. And so part of the healing process, I believe a significant part of the healing process, has to do with developing boundaries. And well, let me tell you I'll give you a really quick hint. I'm not going to dive too deeply into this today, but saying no when you mean no and saying yes when you mean yes. That's really the bottom line, the easiest one to start. It's not really easy. It's simple to say. It sounds simple, but it's not easy to do, but it's totally doable. And well, you know what? If we tell ourselves that it's easy, then it's easy. Because I believe that we can control our thoughts and our thoughts control our reality. So, but yeah, so in order to stay in alignment and to stay in integrity, we need to mean what we say and say what we mean. So if somebody says, "Do you want to go somewhere?" and you try to please them by saying yes, but you really don't want to go, you're just going to wind up resenting them later. It'll build up, and you probably won't want to go, and then you'll be sorry that you went, and then if something goes wrong, you'll be mad at them because they made you go, or you went because of them, and then you keep expecting somebody else to return this behavior. I used to tell people I would throw myself under a bus, not under a bus, in front of a bus to protect my friends. And I meant it. I meant it. I literally meant that I would just give up my own life, you know, even for a random stranger, for whatever. I've done it I've done it for animals. I have absolutely not in front of a bus, but I went under a truck. But a lot of us do that because we love animals. But that's not my point. I'm digressing. My point is that we need to think of ourselves first. And the only way that we can really love other people and really show our true self to other people is by being our true self, being authentic and loving ourselves. And that may sound like difficult depending on where you are in the journey right now, but I'm telling you, just I started off with a simple yes and no. And the more I read about it and hear other people's videos, I also hear that it's very common. And so yeah, just try that. Try that. It's yeah. Okay, so let me read to you what I have, and I can interrupt myself anytime I want because all right, so you should never ever have to walk on eggshells in a healthy relationship with anyone. And you know this too. You do. You know this in your gut. See, when we walk on eggshells, we are being inauthentic. And we're not being true to ourselves. We are solely focused on the other person and what things that we can do in order to make them okay with us and with the world and with themselves. And it's like we're spinning on this little hamster wheel going around and around and around, and we're never getting anywhere. Wait, what was it that Abraham said about this? I have this. When you try to manipulate the circumstances, it's unsustainable. And they didn't use the word people pleasers or the expression people pleasers, but that they were talking about when you're trying to please other people all the time and not, be true to yourself. When you try to manipulate the circumstances all the time, it is unsustainable. You can't control that. And I love Abraham, and I just love the way that they put that because it's the truth. It's unsustainable, and you do wind up getting, like I said, resentful it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy when to always go against what we really want And how do we know what we really want? Well, we have to ask ourselves, because a lot of us, most of us, are totally out of touch with the real us, our authentic true self. And we're out of touch with this person. And we haven't seen this person maybe ever, or maybe not since childhood. Or maybe we have, but some, toxic, explosive relationship happened for the last X amount of years and just totally threw us out of alignment. And in order to get back in alignment, it's not complicated. Okay? It just takes work and we can do it. I know you can do it. All right? So, in order to be healthy, it is healthy to be yourself, regardless of who you're with. Anyone who gets upset because we set boundaries and they expect us to walk on eggshells instead of enforcing our own boundaries is not a healthy person for us to spend time with. And that is the truth. That's the truth. If we set a boundary and someone responds with narcissistic rage or what's the term stonewalling, when they totally ignore us, we're dead to them. You know what I mean? And we have like, oh my gosh, if we're in a situation like that, we really need to reevaluate why we're in that situation, because it's not healthy. And if you're out of these toxic relationships and you're meeting new friends, or even maybe just trying to associate with family or old friends that you think are friends, but then you're suddenly realizing that, well, wait a minute, when I say no, they get really like wildly angry or really rude or snarky. You know what I'm saying? If you've experienced this, you may need to, do some house cleaning. That's what I call it. I call it cleaning house. And I've cleaned my house a lot of times. And you know what? My life is really, really great. It's true. I mean, to live in alignment with and in integrity with who you really are, you know. And it's not like 100% of the time, because things come up and we respond or maybe even react, and it's like we're like, ah, I can't believe I did that. But we catch it. No, there's no beating ourselves up anymore over what we shoulda, coulda, woulda done. None of that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So anyway, so all of that builds all the time. Every time we say yes and mean no, and say no and mean yes, it builds up inside of us and causes ill health. And a friend of mine said recently, she's a doctor, and she said that the body is the emotional graveyard. And I've been watching a lot of things by Dr. Joe Dispenza and Gabor Mate. We're going to talk a lot more about this in other videos, but it is absolutely the truth. It is scientifically based, actually. Did I say actually a couple of times? Actually, all right. Let me go to the other blog. See, like I said, that I'm using the mouse to try to get my laptop to move. Yeah. All right. So that was really quick. It was a really small blog, but it was titled "Walking on Eggshells," and people really need to. They really gravitated toward that yeah, that topic. Where did it go? Darn it, darn it. Hold on. I'm going to pause you for just a minute. I'll be right back. Technical difficulties. All right. So here we go. All right. So while we are walking on eggshells or dancing on hot coals, as I like to put it, we are solely focused on pleasing the other person, doing this dance of insanity, trying to make or keep them happy. And it's all about control. We are the puppets and they are the puppeteers, and they're pulling our strings and making us dance. Now, we failed to realize this at the time. There is no pleasing toxic people. And the more that we dance, the hotter they turn up the heat on the coals. And if we move left, they turn up the heat there. And if we move right, they're scorching our feet there. You see what I'm saying? It's a no-win situation for those of us who want to please other people. Okay? Instead of pleasing ourselves first. All right. Anyway, so what I'm saying is it's a no-win situation for people who want to please and a no-lose situation for people who are